Look around any city and your brain instantly registers it before you even think about it. Police officers are always wearing blue. Not sometimes blue, not fashionably blue, just relentlessly, unwaveringly blue. And the weird part? Almost nobody ever asks why. We just accept it like gravity, taxes, and that one drawer in your house that never closes properly. But that raises a suspicious question. Who decided blue was the color of authority? Why not red? Why not green? Why not something wildly confusing like neon orange? There's a reason this color stuck, and it's way more intentional than you might think. I'm Professor Everything, and today we'll be answering the question, why do police officers wear blue? Right here on Explaining Everything. To understand why police uniforms are blue, we have to rewind to the early 1800s, an era when law enforcement was still figuring itself out. Back then, police forces were brand new, disorganized, and honestly kind of suspicious to the public. People didn't automatically trust uniformed authority. In fact, uniforms were often associated with soldiers, and soldiers were associated with bad memories. Governments realized that if police officers looked too military, citizens might assume they were about to enforce laws with bayonets and shouting. So police needed a color that said, "I'm here to help," not "I'm here to invade." Blue became that color. It looked formal and official, but it wasn't aggressive. It sent a visual message that said, "Yes, I have authority, but I'm not marching you off to war." Ironically, blue was already widely used by the military, just not that military. In the mid-1800s, many armies, including the British and later the American Union Army, used dark blue uniforms. But here's the key difference. Police uniforms were designed to be less flashy and less intimidating. Police blue was darker, simpler, and more practical. No gold trim, no dramatic shoulder pieces, no "I just conquered 3 villages" energy. It distinguished police from soldiers while still borrowing enough authority to be taken seriously. So blue became the sweet spot. Official, but not terrifying. Powerful, but not threatening. Authoritative, but still approachable. Basically, the cardigan of uniform colors. Here's where things get surprisingly scientific. Studies in color psychology show that blue is associated with calmness, trust, and stability. It's the color of the sky, the ocean, corporate logos that want you to believe they're ethical. Early police forces may not have had psychology textbooks, but they absolutely understood perception. A calm-looking officer is more likely to diffuse situations. A calm uniform makes authority feel controlled instead of chaotic. This is one of the reasons bright colors were avoided. Red can signal danger. Black can feel intimidating. White gets dirty immediately and screams, "I regret this decision." Blue quietly says, "I am in control of this situation, and also myself." Now, for the unglamorous but extremely important truth. Blue dye was cheap and widely available. In the 1800s, dark blue fabrics were easier to produce, easier to maintain, and easier to replace than many other colors. Police uniforms needed to survive long shifts, rough weather, and, occasionally, physical confrontations. Blue fabrics hid dirt better than lighter colors and didn't fade as fast as others. In short, blue didn't just look professional. It lasted. And when you're outfitting an entire police force on a government budget, durability matters way more than fashion. Blue was the reliable workhorse of uniform colors. Once blue became standard, it stayed standard. Police forces are not exactly known for dramatic rebrands. Uniform colors became part of the identity of law enforcement itself. Blue started to mean police in the public imagination. By the time modern policing emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, blue was already deeply embedded as the visual symbol of authority, order, and law enforcement. Changing it would have felt strange, like firefighters showing up in pastel yellow. So blue didn't just survive because it worked. It survived because it became symbolic. It meant structure. It meant rules. It meant someone was officially in charge of whatever chaos was happening nearby. Over time, police uniforms evolved in cut, material, and gear, but the color mostly stayed the same. Even when styles modernized, blue remained the anchor. It was recognizable. It was neutral. It didn't escalate situations just by existing. And importantly, blue visually separates police from civilians without making them look alien or hostile. You can spot an officer instantly, but you don't feel like you're looking at a walking threat level. That balance is hard to achieve, and blue nailed it centuries ago. So why do police officers wear blue? Because history needed a non-threatening authority. Because psychology favors calm over chaos. Because blue was affordable, durable, and practical. And because once the world decided blue meant law enforcement, it never really went back. It wasn't about fashion. It wasn't random. It was a carefully chosen solution that quietly worked and kept working. And honestly, that's kind of impressive for a color. If you enjoyed this breakdown of why authority wears navy and not neon, hit that like button and subscribe for more oddly fascinating questions. And if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.